less than 2 days away from the summer equinox. It wouldn't look that way because the sky is cloudy. It's cool tonight for the middle game of the three-game series between the Mariners and the Cincinnati Reds of the National League Central. And a very pleasant good evening to you all again, everybody, with Dave Valley again tonight. I'm Dave Nehas, and pal, sometimes it only takes one, and the M's got the one last night.
And it happened last night. Josh Wilson was the hero of that ball game last night, stepping up against a very tough Johnny Cueto, who was really handling the Mariners well. He gets a fastball up out over the plate. Here comes Jose Lopez, makes a tremendous slide around the tag of Miller to just get that left hand in there. Miller tries to apply the tag with two hands, but you see Jose Lopez with the play of the night, and it was Josh Wilson, not the guy that you typically would expect to come through, but he came through in a big way for Cliff Lee.
And Cliff Lee was the master of his craft again last night. Felix Hernandez was almost the master of his craft against the San Diego Padres in his last outing.
Well, you've got to almost feel for the Cincinnati Reds. They step into Safeco Field. They faced Cliff Lee in the first game, and now they're going to face King Felix in his last outing down in San Diego. He was masterful himself. Threw 128 pitches, the most of his career. But the one thing is, after you throw that many pitches, it's nice to have that extra day off, which the Mariners had on Thursday, to give him that one extra day to rebound, get his strength back, and be ready for the game here tonight.
So, the big right-hander from Venezuela gets his shot now against the Cincinnati Reds, something I think he's been looking forward to. As far as the Reds are concerned, they're going to go with kind of an unknown factor as far as the Mariners are concerned, and kind of a fill-in guy doing a very good job, Sam LeCure.
Yeah, Brian Price has said nothing but good things about this young man. He won his first start, and then he went up against Carpenter and Kane and Greinke. And now he's got Felix tonight. He's probably thinking, what the heck is going on? Can I get a softball here? But this guy's got a lot of heart, fastball, slider change, not overpowering. But again, he's the type of guy that they like having out there because he knows how to compete. So he's gonna get his handful tonight with Felix on the mound.
The Mariners knocked Cincinnati off the top peg yesterday with the win, while the Cardinals won. And as they have the game back, Cincinnati will have to win tonight because the Cardinals have beaten the Oakland Athletics tonight at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Great to have you with us on this cloudy evening. The second game of the three-game series, the M's and the Reds. Back right after this.
give you more information and insight into the game.
Seattle Mariners Baseball on FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By Sterling Savings Bank, ranked 2010's highest in the Northwest for retail banking's customer satisfaction. By J.D. Power and Associates. And by your Western Washington Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. The M's and the Cincinnati Reds on this cloudy evening. And right now, let's take a look at our Jaguar performance of the game. And certainly, as you look at the crowd, the Jaguar performance of the game has to go to the big left-hander from Benton, Arkansas. What a job last night by Cliff Lee.
Well, John Wooden, the great John Wooden, used to say, make today your masterpiece. Well, Cliff Lee did that last night as he just certainly dominated this Cincinnati Reds lineup. Worked ahead. That's been his recipe for success all season long. His strikeout to walk ratio, 67 strikeouts to only 4 walks. He works ahead. He puts the pressure on the hitters. And tonight it was just wonderful to see him work last night in that complete game shutout.
How good is that strikeout to walk ratio? Take a look at this. If he keeps it up, it will be the best all time by far. Right now, Brett Sagerhagen at the top with 11, then Kurt Schilling, then Martinez, and then Maddox. But right now, Cliff Lee, 16, almost 17 strikeouts to every base on balls. Absolutely unbelievable. And in this evening's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge. Tonight, every home run in this game raises $20,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE 2873 or go online to www.pcf.org. So the M's and the Reds, great to have you part of our baseball party. We'll open the doors right after this timeout. They say it is the most succulent of all of our salmons here in the Northwest. It is Copper River time, and that is the Pike Place Market. I'm not going to argue it. It is a delicious, delicious salmon. We get set to play baseball. The Mariners and the Cincinnati Reds in the middle game of this 3-game series. Just about ready to get underway is Felix Hernandez is going to face Orlando Cabrera, and the first pitch is swung on, and a high fly ball hit to left field, fairly deep, and it'll take Michael Saunders right back to where the grass meets the warning track to make the catch. One pitch, one down. Let's check that Reds lineup, pal.
Here's how the Reds are going to stack up against Felix here tonight. Cabrera, Phillips, Votto, Roland Gomes, Bruce, Nix, Hernandez, and Drew Stubbs rounding it out. Felix Hernandez on the mound. 14 starts, 1 complete game. He's 4-5 with a 3.61 coming off that great effort down in San Diego last Sunday, where he went 8 2/3 innings and threw 128 pitches.
Well, we'll see how indicative of how aggressive the Reds are going to be after that first pitch swing, as Brandon Phillips likes to swing at first pitches too, takes the delivery off the plate inside. Las Diaz is the man calling balls and strikes tonight behind home plate. .96 mile an hour fastball, four-seamer. It looked like a four-seamer.
I believe it was. You wonder how the rest of the pitching staff, as they watch an effort like you saw last night from Cliff Lee, about working ahead, forcing the hitters, getting them on the defensive, how they try to apply that to their own strategy here tonight so far. Cabrera swung at that first pitch, and he's working ahead here to Brandon Phillips.
And that breaking ball way out in front of the plate. What's a pitcher done when he releases the ball that much of a break, that far out in front of the plate? What's happened?
He's held on to it a little bit too long. Just a little bit. And poor Robbie Johnson back there having to throw that body out there because it's 2 strikes. You never know if that hitter tries to go after something.
And a soft line drive right there's Casey Kotzman to underhand at first. And this is a big game for Casey Kotzman over at first base. If he does not make an error tonight, will tie the all-time record for first baseman consecutive games without an error. Let's have a look at the Mariners defense.
Here's time for the Home Depot doing more on defense for the Mariners. Lopez, Wilson, Figgins, and Kochman over at first. As you mentioned, 237 consecutive errorless games.
And here's Joey Votto now, the big first baseman. And a towering fly ball to deep left center field, and back Gutierrez to the track and makes the leap and makes the catch right up against the fence as he bangs in after the leap. He had his sights on it all the way, and yes, indeed, the Reds are very aggressive here in the first inning. And what do they have to show for it? Nada. 3 up, 3 down. Mariners coming up.
the Mariners lineup for this evening. In the leadoff spot, Ichiro, followed by Figgins, Bradley, Lopez, Gutierrez, Wilson, Kochman, Johnson, and Saunders. On the mound for the Cincinnati Reds, Sam LeClure. He's only had 4 starts with a record of 1-3. That ERA just under 4 at 3.75.
Sam LeClure out of Jefferson City, Missouri, which happens to be the capital of Missouri, but he matriculated at the University of Texas. And now here's Ichiro, who had his interleague streak snapped last night at 20 consecutive interleague games in which he had a hit. He went 0 for 4, ironically, in all four of his bats, he hit one to every position on the infield. He hit for the cycle last night, third, short, second, and first.
Well, we certainly know he can hit the ball and spray it all over the field. Just couldn't find a hole last evening.
Pure sinker down low, but fouled away, a ball and 2 strikes. You heard Val talk about the opposition that LeClure has had to face early in his career. In the last 3 times, the opposition, and now including Felix, has been unbelievable. And that's fouled away and out of play. Chris Carpenter, Matt Cain of the Giants, Zach Greinke of Kansas City, now Felix Hernandez of the Mariners.
Good luck, young man. One thing a young pitcher has to realize very quickly.
Breaking ball and a fly ball routinely to left.
Is that you're not really competing against that other pitcher. You're competing against their lineup. And if you get too focused on who your opposition on the mound is, they'll certainly take you out of your game plan. Here's how the Reds will be defending against the Mariners. Nick Stubbs and Jay Bruce around the outfield. Scott Rowland, Orlando Cabrera, Brandon Phillips, and Joey Votto over at first. Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. And Mr. LeClure on the mound.
Peggy the hitter now. 1-0. LeClure can get wild on occasion. And that's right back up the middle, behind the bag at second. Great backhand stop, but no throw. Brandon Phillips had to eat it.
That ball off the bat of Sean Figgins didn't look like it was squared up. Maybe a little bit off the end of the bat. But Brandon Phillips makes a nice try right here. Goes into a sliding catch. But just could not make that transition to the throwing hand. Sean Figgins busted hard down the line.
Milton Bradley the hitter. And last night Johnny Cueto was busting Bradley in on the hands with hard stuff. Let's see what this right-hander does. That was inside, on the inside corner. And there's the young man from last night. He can pitch.
Yeah, he was going pitch to pitch with Cliff Lee. Ran into trouble there in the 6th inning. Hit Jose Lopez, put him on first base, and it was Lopez who came around to score the decisive run. LeClure's stuff not as sharp as Johnny Cueto's. Doesn't have that little extra movement that we saw last night, but has the ability to command the pitch on both sides of the plate.
2-1. Even Cliff Lee said that there were 3 balls hit in that 3rd inning last night, all 3 of which probably would have been out of Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Well, certainly that one off the bat of Brandon Phillips.
Yeah.
Just about a foot from going over the wall in left center field.
Challenged him with a high fastball. 2-2.
See that Emerald Queen Casino Tracer pitch right on the inside part of the plate. You had it right, Dave. They are really trying to just tie up Milton Bradley on the inner half of the plate. Looks like Hernandez was set up on the outside part, guessing that maybe go off speed here with the 2-2 count.
Figgy goes. The pitch is a strike throw to the second base. Figgy is safe. Man, throw beat him. How in the world that was not made is amazing.
Well, I want to see this one on instant replay, but I think the Mariners may have gotten away with one right here. A very strong throw from Ramon Hernandez from behind the plate. It looks like the sweet tag gets him right before that right foot gets on the bag.
Throw beat him by 5 feet. I think the Mariners get a break there. Dusty Baker's going to argue with the second base umpire, who happens to be the crew chief, John Hirschbeck. It's funny how you never ever win those.
Yeah, they don't change those calls.
And I'm glad they don't use instant replay on them too.
You feel strongly about that?
I do. I'm glad they use instant replay for home runs. You want to go back to the perfect game that was blown. I think the commissioner made the right decision on that, not changing it. I mean, that opens up Pandora's box. Maybe you're going to have him asked to change so many calls during the course of the year. That's all he would be doing most of the summer.
That'd be the first thing once he got to the office, he'd have to go through all the reviews of last night.
How about you?
My feeling is that we have opened up the door a little bit to instant replay. We've opened it up for the home runs, and certainly we've seen a lot of calls being changed because of it, and I think that's a good thing. I think getting the call right is the most important, but if it did go further, what I would like to see is the speed of the decision a lot quicker. Right now with the home run call, you see all 4 guys first, they talk about it, and then finally, okay, let's go review it. And then they walk slowly off the field. And why not have somebody in the ballpark, or they can even have it at the umpiring studio where they're reviewing all games, and it's a quick call. Because as you and I saw in that perfect game, the possible perfect game in Detroit, you and I saw the first replay, and we knew right away the call was missed. It would have taken 10 seconds.
So what you're going to say is call the office in New York. They're going to watch it anyway. They've already got the answer for you.
They already have it. Or have someone at each ballpark, like you and I are sitting here watching replays upstairs, and they can just radio down within 10 seconds. Maybe not 10 seconds on all of them, but on that one certainly.
Strike 3 call, yeah. But I understand what you're saying. At any rate, LeCure gets out of the jam here. A mini jam in the first. Mariners don't score. We go to the second. No score. Third baseman of the Reds taking a bit high and inside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Rolling 3 home runs away from joining the 300 club in his outstanding major league career. Takes a strike. For years, considered the premier third baseman in the National League. Even when Adrian Beltre was in the National League with the Dodgers, Beltre was beginning his career, and probably when he was traded over here was on a par with, or maybe even a little better than Roland. But of course, Roland also came over here, played with the Toronto. Ball dropped, but picked up by Rob Johnson. He throws him out.
I know I'd gotten a scouting report on Scott Rowland from a guy whose opinion I highly respect, and that was Tino Martinez, who was a teammate of his in St. Louis. And Tino told me he is the best he had ever played with at that position. And that was good enough for me.
Johnny Gomes, the designated hitter. And roll right to shortstop. Josh throws him out.
Well, we're certainly seeing the Reds be a little bit more aggressive early in the count tonight against Felix. He's already gotten a number of first pitch swings and outs, which is a good thing, because on the back end of this ball game, the fewer pitches he throws now, the deeper into the game he can go.
With the off day on Monday, that means that Cliff Lee and Felix Hernandez both will get a chance to pitch against the Chicago Cubs, as the Cubs are in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoon. 1 ball and 1 strike to count, and Jason Vargas will get to start on Tuesday. So the M's going to have outstanding pitching against Lou Pinella's Cubs.
Well, you certainly don't want to miss that series with these two guys throwing again. I'm sure Mr. Piniella wasn't real happy about hearing that.
That breaking ball, a big one. There you go. Wednesday and Thursday. Cliff Lee against Randy Wells. And Carlos Silva comes back on Thursday. Change up and a dandy that time. And Felix Hernandez has his second strikeout of the inning. And no problem. The Reds go in order. We go to the bottom half of the second, still no score. So a strike to Franklin Gutierrez leading off the second inning. Just talking about a kid that we saw in spring training that just overpowered stuff. Michael Pineda, nice play, outstanding play out there by Brandon Phillips to throw out Franklin Gutierrez.
And Phillips couldn't get that play very similar done earlier with Sean Figgins. This time he comes across the other side of the bag from the shortstop side, gets enough on that throw. A nice finish over there by Votto at first base.
To finish my thought on Pineda, big, tall right-hander, about 6'7", 6'8", throws 95, 96 miles an hour, overpowering stuff. And I think he's going to be an outstanding pitcher at the major league level, whether it be this year or the next year or maybe even the next. But I think that the Mariners would like to get a chance to have a peek at him at least maybe even September of this year. He's having a great year at in the Southern League, West Tennessee.
Something about those pitchers who are 6'5", 6'6", who can fire the ball up there. We saw a young one yesterday, Taijuan Walker, Mariners' first-round pick. Nothing but great things to say about that young man. 6'4", long, lanky. He's going to be able to fill out. He's only 17 years old. They've got some great things, great expectations from that young man from Yucaipa, California.
Josh Wilson taking a strike. Nice story on Josh Wilson's dad today in the paper, who's the head baseball coach at Duquesne, and they discontinued the program. Duquesne is in Pittsburgh. That's lined down the right field line into the corner. That's going to be a fair ball. So it's going to rattle around into the corner, and that will be a ground rule double.
Josh Wilson last night came through with the big game-winning RBI and base hit. This time, this pitch is out over the plate, lets it travel deep, and just shoots it down into that right field corner. Unfortunately, this ball bounces in for a ground rule double into the stands. I think he may have had a chance once that ball started to rattle around to possibly get to third had it not gone in.
And here's Casey Kochman now. Nice breaking ball. Change it.
Kochman with 21 RBIs on the season.
A comebacker. Puts a runner back to second. And so Kochman is thrown out. 2 away. Tomorrow, celebrate Father's Day right here at Safeco Field. The Reds, of course, wrapping up this series in the first 10,000 dads, taking home a magnetic photo frame courtesy of Trader Joe's. Perfect way to spend an afternoon with your family right here at the ballpark. For tickets, you can visit Mariners.com. Catcher Rob Johnson is the hitter.
Josh Wilson did a nice job of reading that ball right back to the pitcher on that last ground ball, that comebacker off the bat of Kochman. You know, when you're on second base, your team hasn't been scoring a lot of runs. There's that anticipation that you want to score when that ball is hit. But he read it very quickly and got back in time.
LaCour's fastball right over the outside corner.
Here's a look at that ball, how Josh gets a good read. He sees it going back up the middle, and normally you would take off at third. But as LaCour was able to field it, Josh very quickly headed back towards second base and remains in scoring position.
Slider on the outside corner. Marginal pitch there.
Tracer showing that pitch just off of the plate.
Outside target. 2-2.
Rob Johnson did a nice job last night working with Cliff Lee, catching that complete game shutout. You saw in that last pitch, it was a big breaking ball. As that ball landed in the glove of Rob Johnson, you saw his emotions and excitement to close it out. Nothing better for a catcher than to walk off that field with a shutout in your pocket.
And a broken back ground ball, foul, down to Lee Tinsley. More firewood.
Well, looks like the bat stays in fair territory as his ball shoots off to the left there. Got some good distance. Looks like another one of those maple bats just snapping in two. McClure working on the inside part of the plate to both the left-handers and the right-handers.
And a ground ball. Great stop at first base by Votto. And he underhands to LeCure. That saved a run. Great play by Joey Votto. And here in the second, Wilson perishes at second base thanks to this play by Joey Votto. As we go to the third, no score. Well, nice to have a little bachelorette party out there. All the ladies together. Last fling. Is that Molly's bachelorette party? Because Jason's getting married, you know, tomorrow out in the bullpen.
I heard about that.
1 ball and no strikes to count.
Is it singles night tonight?
Singles night.
So it's that young lady's last night as a single girl.
Lance Nex has taken a ball. That man is going to get married tomorrow in the bullpen. He's marrying a young lady by the name of Molly. A breaking ball for a strike.
If I'm not mistaken, it's the first time a wedding will take place out in the bullpen here at Safeco Field.
Jason Phillips is the bullpen catcher. And a foul back and out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. And they're going to turn the home bullpen into a wedding chapel after the game. Private ceremony. There's a nice story by Jerry Brewer in the Times about that a couple days ago. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and we're mighty happy for both of them. They seem very, very agradable, as they say in Spanish, and very much in love, and we wish them all well. Nothing but the best. He's a heck of a kid, Jason Phillips. And a change foul at the plate.
And it's a great story. You know,
it is.
Him throwing the baseball up there with his phone number on it. It's usually not that easy.
Nix takes just off the inside corner. 3-2.
Lance Nix came up with the Texas Ranger organization, had some nice years over there. Ramon Hernandez in the on-deck circle.
And off the end of the bat and charging in on the run, Mr. Gutierrez.
Dave, now, I know you get a chance to see Franklin Gutierrez every day, night in and night out, but being at the network and seeing all of the center fielders out there, this guy is right there at the top. He is an amazing athlete out there in center field.
Well,
covers so much ground.
Zone ratings and everything say he's the best. They say he's the best defensive center fielder in baseball, and I find it hard to debate.
Death to flying.
I gave him that nickname. Inside ball one ball and no strikes. And just had a great year last year. And having another good year this year. Ramon Hernandez with the count 1-0. It's beginning to have a little precipitation here right now. So I would imagine we'll see that light go on out there pretty soon and the roof will be closing. Slider, strike on the outside corner. And here it comes. It's beginning to close. Again, every time we see that, how controversial it was 10 years ago when they put that baby on. Chuck Armstrong, best investment.
Absolutely. I think, you know, for all the fans that are outside of King County, which the Seattle Mariners have many, to know that if I'm going to drive over the mountains to go see the Mariners, I know I'm going to go see baseball.
Ramon Hernandez fouls that one down the third baseline.
Hernandez, over the course of his career versus the Mariners, played a lot of years with the Oakland Athletics.
Too high, 3-2.
Also from Venezuela.
Drew Stubbs, that's the center fielder. He's next. Right in on his hands. Nice little second hop right up in the breadbasket. Mr. Lopez. 2 down. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. And it's a very simple question, true or false. No pitcher in the live ball era has finished the season with 15 or more wins while having fewer walks and wins. For example, Cliff Lee now has 4 walks, 5 wins. So if you had 15 or more decisions, is it true? Is that a true fact? No pitcher has finished the season with 15 or more wins while having fewer walks and wins. First season of the live ball era for this case, in this case, is 1921. I'm going to say it's true.
I'm thinking only 15 walks for an entire season.
That's 15 wins. Too.
Right, yeah. Right. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody did do it, I think of the guys that I would relate to, maybe a Catfish Hunter, maybe a Greg Maddux. Possibilities, but boy, that's just not enough walks. Maybe a Bob Tewksbury, the guy that was known for great control. I'm gonna have to say false.
Okay.
And partly because what we're seeing Cliff Lee do is just absolutely amazing. 67 strikeouts, only 4 walks so far.
Drew Stubbs with the count 2-2 on it.
Reds taking Felix deep into the count. It's his second consecutive at bat where he's gone 3-2.
And he's living on that inside part of the plate, and the throw to first, not in time. Good hustle by Drew Stubbs, and there's the first hit in the ball game for the Cincinnati Reds, and an infield hit as Josh Wilson could not quite get it over there in time.
Well, Felix gets deep in the kitchen on Drew Stubbs. That ball just wasn't hit hard enough for Josh Wilson to come up and get it quick enough. Drew Stubbs with tremendous speed getting down the line. But Wilson does everything he can to get it over there, and he just beats the throw. Good call by the umpire.
Orlando Cabrera, first ball swinging. Sent Saunders right back near the warning track to get his drive to start the ball game.
Felix will need to keep his eye on Drew Stubbs over there at first base. Cabrera handles the bat very well. Not a bad spot right here for a hit and run.
One hopper, short way, side out. So here in the third, a hit, an infield hit. Runner left. We go to the bottom half of inning number 3. The Mariners nothing and the Reds nothing. Question. The statement was no pitcher in the live ball era since 1921 has finished season with 15 or more wins while having less bases on balls than wins. And it was split right down the middle, 50-50 by you fans, as Michael Saunders takes a breaking ball for a strike. And the answer is true. It is true. The closest, Greg Maddux, in 97 had 19 wins and only 20 walks. So that's very, very close. As Saunders is all set to take the one strike pitch, and he does a change low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, back in the dead ball era, which was before 1921, Christy Matheson did it on a couple of occasions. 2-1 the count. He had 25 wins and only 21 walks in 1913, 24 wins and 23 walks in 1914. And the guy used to pitch for these Reds back in 1919, Slim Sally.
That's a great name.
Slim Sally. Probably weighed about 450 pounds. It's a high pop-up hit into left field. And that'll be taken care of by Lance Nix.
Now, Christy Matheson, was he called the Big Train?
No, that was Walter Johnson. That was Walter Johnson.
Okay.
Walter Johnson was a big train.
The meal ticket?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Maddox, boy, he had some amazing years. Very consistent out there. You also mentioned a gentleman by the name of Bob Tewksbury, who I had the pleasure to catch when he was with the Texas Rangers.
He could dot the I, couldn't he?
Oh, yeah. Fun to catch. And in fact, he loved when the crew chief here tonight, John Hirschbeck, was behind the plate. He used to look. He used to track and see when John was coming into town, because John always had a propensity to give him a little bit more on the outside part of the plate.
Well, you know, Jamie Moyer, for example, I'm sure knows umpires as well as anybody who's ever pitched in a baseball game, looking forward to getting, you know, particular umpires at a certain time.
All those
and
guys,
he's one of them.
all those guys have their scouting reports for the umpires, and they're tracking. Don't think they're not. They're tracking to see who's going to be behind the dish when they're on the mound. John Hirschbeck, just a great guy to work with personally behind the plate.
Ichiro belts the ball deep to right field, and that will fly away. About 4 or 5 rows deep into the lower deck in right field, and Ichiro has given the Mariners a 1-0 lead. His 3rd home run of the year. Just a line drive out there into the lower deck.
Well, we saw Ichiro today during batting practice just launching some balls up into the seats. This one had a slightly different trajectory. This was just a line drive that just clears the yellow line out there in right field, but this ball is just covered. Fastball right out over the plate. And he hooks it into the seats.
Sam LeCure has just given up his 4th home run.
Ichiro, when he comes around that baseball, boy, he can put a charge into it. Mike Sweeney saying, that's all right. You did it just like I told you. Ichiro's last home run came back on June 14th in St. Louis. But certainly for Felix Hernandez to be able to at least get one up on the board right now. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, Mariners' chore now is to continue to add on and give that man a few more runs, a few more breathing, or a little bit more breathing room.
And an easy pop-up. So 2 down. The Cubs, they're right around the corner. They make their first return to Safeco in nearly a decade. 3-game series with Lou Piniella, and the Cubs begins on Tuesday, concludes on Thursday. A special 12:40 start time, always a special event when the Cubs come to town. For tickets, you can visit Mariners.com. Milton Bradley takes just off the inside corner.
McClure continuing to try to pound that ball inside to Milton. Slowly seeing Milton fall back into a nice rhythm up at the plate.
Nice change. Two and two.
His strategy against Bradley is that old familiar Hard in, soft away. Make the hitter aware of that fastball inside and then get him off balance by going soft away.
Cowering pop-up. Problem for Scott Rowland there, so that will be that. But the Mariners did get a run on the long ball from Ichiro. And as we go to the 4th inning, Mariners up 1-0.
Going for their 3rd consecutive win. It's a nice night here. Well, with nice night here in Safeco because we got the roof keeping us away from the rain. But it's a nice night for baseball. We got Felix Hernandez on the mound. Mariners have won 2 games in a row, both by 1 run. Hopefully they can add to this tonight.
Well, you know, you love seeing 1-run games. You like the suspense. But sometimes it's nice to have a few extra out there. And I'm sure Felix would be saying the same thing tonight.
Here's Lopez as he throws out Brandon Phillips, 1 down. Felix looks sharp tonight. Looks like he took several chapters out of Cliff Lee's book from last night.
It works. Working ahead, throwing strike 1, it absolutely works. It puts the offensive team on the defensive.
Right.
If you can establish strike 1, all of a sudden they're going to find themselves in bad hitting counts. And at that point, you can start to expand that strike zone, and you don't have to come to the hitter. The hitter's got to go after you.
Let me throw this one at you as well. It appears that he's using the fastball more than he has, or as much as he did last week in San Diego. It's a turn of the page for him the last couple starts. You got the good heater, use it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've often said if these guys could go up and face themselves.
Good call.
If they could just understand what the hitter is seeing. Because oftentimes you're doing the hitter a favor by trying to throw an off-speed pitch or throw a changeup. When you're throwing 96, 97 with movement, it's not easy, folks. I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you.
You had to catch that, too, so you can imagine trying to hit it.
When I think what we saw last night, Cliff Lee, you hope that the young pitchers are watching that and realize that it does work and that they can do that same thing. When you throw strikes, you get early outs, you get quick outs, which means your pitch count stays down, you stay in the game longer, you have more opportunities to win games. All of it's in favor of the pitcher.
Check swing off the bat of Votto. 3-2 now, 1 out, nobody on. Ichiro's 3rd home run. Wait, a nice little draw. It was a bullet draw that he hit. Man, that thing was hit hard, wasn't it?
Came right around it, kind of wrapped that bat, carved it out there into right field seats.
3-2 to a good hitter, Votto, and he's aboard. First walk. Just the third base runner for Cincinnati. When you're traveling outside the Northwest this season, hey, take Mariners with you. Take the Mariners with you by subscribing to MLB.tv today to see every Mariners game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Mariners.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Cincinnati team has really had tremendous output in these first 68 games. Here's Scott Rowland, the veteran third baseman, having a good year out of the 4-hole for Dusty Baker.
Well, Dusty's gotten some great production from this middle part of the lineup. Scott Rowland, a new addition. Johnny Gomes, another new addition. Two guys that you're probably going into the season you weren't quite sure what you were going to get, and what you've gotten is just tremendous production. Scott Rowland being a big reason why they're just a half a game out behind the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League Central.
They're 5-7 against St. Louis. They're going to battle the way it looks right now, tooth and nail all year long. This is the first time in 12 days Cincinnati's not been in first place in NL Central.
One of the interesting things that they have on the horizon is a young right-hander who's down on rehab, and he's not too far away from what I understand. That's Edison Volquez.
Went back from Tommy John surgery, and Dusty's talking about him throwing. He and Marty Brenneman, a longtime voice of the Reds, hey, throwing 96, 97 coming off of Tommy John surgery, and it's a little bit less than a year ago. Usually those guys don't get fired up and getting ready for major league action about 18 months. Deep drive right center field. Gutierrez has it in his sights, makes a catch. Runner tags, throw to second. Good aggressive base runner. He is safe. Aggressive play by Joey Votto.
Challenging one of the best center fielders in the game in Gutierrez. Votto, as soon as this ball gets up in the air, he realizes it's not going to hit the ground. And you can see Gutierrez is almost a little bit surprised that Joey Votto tagged up and went to second base.
Still a good throw, and his momentum was taking him in the opposite direction.
And I think that was one reason why Votto felt like he could get to second base, because not an easy transition as your momentum's going towards right field to stop and start getting it back towards second base.
Johnny Gomes, line drive, base hit. Here comes Votto. He's going to score, and the Reds have tied it. Got a pitch hanging, and Johnny Gomes drilled it for his 49th RBI. What a year he's having. 1-1 ball game here in the fourth.
Well, and that base running produced their first run for the Reds by Votto moving up to second base, and here comes Gomes. The big surprise for the Big Red Machine. Gets a hanging slider up out over the plate and shoots it into left field for an RBI single.
That's a big play by Joey Votto, tagging on the fly ball. Leads directly to the RBI for Johnny Gomes. It's Jay Bruce, strike one.
Johnny Gomes leading the team in RBIs. That, as you mentioned, that was his 49th RBI.
Mariners tied now at 1-1. They had the 1-0 lead. They've come off of a 1-0 win and a 2-1 win the last two times out. Gomes jumping on that first pitch from Felix. 1-2.
This is where you like to see Felix regroup after that, giving up that base hit to left, closing out the inning and getting his team back out in the batter's box.
1-2 runner goes, swung on. That is a foul ball.
There's a souvenir that young man will remember for a long time.
Count on it.
Did you ever get a foul ball growing up?
Nah, it came close. I got them. My dad knew some people that were ushers at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, and they got them and they would bring them home to us. That was cool, but I never got one at the count. I tell you what, it did count because we used the bad boys for a while That's when they counted.
Yeah.
Here's a snap throw down to first.
Those leather baseballs don't last very long out on the street.
Well, it's a called third strike on Jay Bruce. So side is retired. They get an RBI. Johnny Gomes, smart base running by Joey Votto, ties the score 1-1. All right, thank you, Angie. The Yankees stopping, what, an 8-game Met winning streak. Here's Jose Lopez to lead it off. Lopez struck out looking his first time. Lopez, Gutierrez, and Wilson. What do you think of Sam LeCure to this point?
He's been impressive. You know, we heard that he had some control issues. He'd been walking quite a few, but we have not seen that tonight.
Back up the middle. Phillips on the shortstop side of the second base. Second time he's done that. I spoke to both he and Cabrera on my roundtable segment on the radio side. They're having a lot of fun, and it shows.
Well, I tell you, he goes a long way to get this. But look how strong a throw he gets off balance, and still fires something over there to first base to Joey Votto. Showing some tremendous range out there. Great athlete.
I mean, even he made a play earlier against Goody back in the second. I know he's shading that way, but that's still a difficult play.
Well, he also knocked the one down by Sean Figgins. Just couldn't make that transition to his throwing hand. He's getting a lot of plays to that backhand tonight.
Goody 1 for 4 last night.
But you were asking me about LeCure, and I've been impressed with his ability to throw strikes on both sides of the plate. He's been very aggressive on the inside part to the hitters. Not afraid to come in.
Pounded down to Roland. Strong throw, 2 outs. 2 out here in the 4th inning for the Mariners. A Quest high-speed pitch. What are these guys throwing tonight? Well, Felix at 96 with tremendous movement, and LeCure more than holding his own at 90. LeCure struck out 2, hasn't walked anybody. Felix has struck out 3 and walked 1. That walk did come around to score thanks to the big hustle by Votto, tagging on the roll and fly ball to right center field.
Now, of that Quest high-speed pitch, you saw Felix at 96. He throws the majority of his fastballs at 96, where McClure topped out at 90. Typically, he's throwing 86, 87 miles an hour.
Josh Wilson gets hit. 2-out base runner. That was the impetus for a rally last night, 6th inning when Lopez got hit.
That was a crack in the door.
That's exactly right. Came with 2 outs, just like right here.
McClure again coming inside, that ball just grazing. Looks like the right forearm.
Yep.
Maybe just the right sleeve of Josh Wilson. See if the Mariners can't take advantage of that mistake.
Well, here's a guy that's long overdue. Casey Kotchman got up to a nice start in April. Not done a lot since then. 0 for his last 10. Gosh, Wilson a little bit of a base stealing threat, 3 for 3 on the season.
Hernandez behind the dish, very good throwing arm.
Strike one, so 1-1. Casey Kotchman with Rob Johnson on deck.
Rob Johnson was robbed of what would have been an RBI single by Joey Votto. Tremendous diving play down the right field line.
Slow breaking ball that misses, 2-1. Casey Kotchman continues to be sparkling with the glove. Using him for some late inning defensive replacements in recent games.
Pretty aggressive lead over there at first base by Josh Wilson. Just getting that right hand back in on the dive. Saw the glance of Josh Wilson looking in towards home plate.
2-2. Kotchman in his 49th start here with the Mariners. With Boston and Atlanta last year. Started his career with the Angels. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Josh Wilson at first base. Not a big lead for Josh Wilson. Went a long ways, but foul. Do it again.
Kotchman putting together a nice at bat right here. That last pitch was a little slider down and in. The happy zone for a lot of left-handed hitters. Let's see what LaCour wants to do with him here with a 2-2 count.
Pitch.
Looks
like
the way. Yeah, a little check swing right there. Ramon Hernandez trying to pull that ball into fair territory. Kotchman tries to hold up and just barely ticks this ball. Check out Hernandez as he comes out. He's trying to get into fair territory before that ball lands. Hey, you do whatever you can, right?
Sell it, baby, sell it. Kotchman 2-2. Strike 3 call. That's a 3rd called strikeout tonight for Sam LaCour. Bradley Lopez in the 1st. Kotchman here in the 4th. To the 5th we go in a 1-1 game. All right, thank you, Andrew. I had a good look at the first half, the Cameroon game with Denmark with my son today, who's in town for Father's Day weekend. Not much of a soccer fan, but we actually enjoyed it. There was a lot of offense, a lot of attacking and counter-attacking. It was good stuff.
Cameroon, they're the first one to get knocked out?
No, they're the first to get knocked out, and the African nations at one count this afternoon were 1-11.
Ouch.
Early going here in the World Cup. Breaking ball and a beauty, 1-2. Honduras, the only team in our hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, that has lost the game. That's impressive. Ball and 2 strikes. Hicks flied out to center field his first time. Just got a piece of it. Felix has struck out 3, walked 1.
I kind of flinched right there. That ball,
Yeah, right?
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he's got good movement today. Reds run coming in the 4th inning. Strikes out. Lance Nix strikes out on a good pitch from Felix Hernandez at strikeout number 4.
Well, this is the second breaking ball he's thrown Nix in this at bat. This ball's got a little 12-6 movement right here as Lance Nix swings right through it.
You had that with 96, 97. You got no chance.
Yeah, when you're able to pull the string and throw it for strikes, and what that does is the hitter cannot eliminate that. He's got to be aware that you can throw it for a strike, especially with 2 strikes.
Fly ball center field and deep, but going back Gutierrez. Just shy of the track. 2 down. Off the bat of Ramon Hernandez. Ramon now 0 for 2. We take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. We are zoning in on the All-Star break. End of June coming up. Cubs come to town. We'll see Carlos Silva in that series. Go to Milwaukee, where they hit a lot of home runs. The Yankees, well, they're the Yankees, and Detroit's got a good ball club. In second place starting today behind Minnesota in the AL Central. Drew Stubbs, infield hit his first time up. Make sure you come out and join us for the Cubs series. Cliff Lee, will get to see him again against Randy Wells on Wednesday, and Felix on Thursday against Carlos Silva. Former Mariner having a nice year. He lost last night. I believe he's 8-2. And the Cubs got smoked today by the Angels, 12-0 at Wrigley Field. He's driving around town today and popped that game on satellite radio, and Monsanto sounded like he was at a funeral. Line drive, base hit. Off the bat of Drew Stubbs. I mean, you could, Ron, pump it up a little bit. He was Ron Santo, one of the great Cubs of all time. And I felt for him, having been in that situation before. And you've been there as a broadcaster and as a player. And he just, Ron, you there? It was tough. I felt for him. I'll put my arm around him when they come to town.
Well, you've got to think of all the years when there's been such high expectations. And I think this year was a year of high expectations. They had Aramis Ramirez coming back. They thought he was going to have that big impact again. And he has not been the player that he was a couple of years ago. I think all the Chicago nation was thinking that they'd be at the top of that National League Central, and not the Reds, and not the St. Louis Cardinals.
8 games under 500 now with that loss with the Cubbies. Cabrera, short left field, foul territory. Josh Wilson, he overran it. So Cabrera has a second life.
Josh Wilson having to go a long way to get to this ball. Looks like he took his eyes off of it to check out where that wall was right at the very end, and lost sight of it just enough for that ball to hit right off the end of his webbing.
Adam Jones overran one very similarly last night in his game out in San Diego, running towards left center and overran it. Dropped in for extra bases in that Padre Baltimore game.
Well, this is where Felix needs to pick up his teammate right here. Josh is probably kicking himself for not making that play for Felix. But this is where the good ones said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of this one.
Runner goes. Pitch out. They're waiting for him. Throw not in time into center field. Another error here in this inning. Throw to third. Lopez keeps it in play. As Stubbs gets a stolen base, his 14th. He can really run. E2, Rob Johnson.
Yeah, we saw Stubbs use that speed to beat out the infield hit. This time he gets a good jump. Strong throw by Rob Johnson, but into the runner. Really tough play for Sean Figgins as that ball and the runner start to veer and collide.
So second error of the season, Rob Johnson. The 8th error for Josh Wilson, and now Cincinnati has the lead run at third base, 2 outs, 1-1 to a good hitter, Cabrera.
Orlando Cabrera been very successful versus the Mariners over the years.
Way outside, 3-1.
Got Brandon Phillips in the on-deck circle, so he can be careful with this pitch.
3 balls and 2 strikes now. Well, this inning was going along rather nicely for Mr. Hernandez. A strikeout and a flyout, then a base hit, stolen base, and the Cabrera at bat kept alive. Josh Wilson overrunning. Foul pop. Fans clapping for a strikeout. That's what the Mariners need right here. The 3-2 to Cabrera with 2 outs. The pitch. Fly ball right center field. Ichiro going back. He's there. Makes the catch. So Felix and Ichiro pick up Rob Johnson and Josh Wilson. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors, 1 left. It's a 1-1 ball game. Thank you, Reggie. Rob Johnson to lead it off here in the home 5th inning. Saunders and Ichiro to follow. Rob get robbed by Joey Votto. Diving stop at first base. That ended the 2nd inning. Breaking ball starts him off from Sam Ichiro.
And also saved a run. Looked like right off the bat that ball was going to get down into the right field line.
Mariners on the board, and Ichiro, 1-out homer in the third. Cincinnati responded immediately. Johnny Gooms RBI single in the fourth.
Rob has been swinging the bat much better over the last few weeks. Starting to square that ball up more often.
He wins his last Diaz, 2-2. I've had 9 hits on the trip. Texas, San Diego, and St. Louis. 2-2. Breaking ball pulled down to Scott Rowland. 1 out. Bring up Michael Saunders. Curious as we watch his approach. Youngster still feeling his way through here in this Major League process. Seen a lot of first pitch fastballs.
And at some point in time, you're going to start to see him attack that first pitch. Typically, when a young hitter gets to the big leagues, they're going to find out if you can hit that fastball. Once you start showing them that you can square it up, then you're going to start seeing a few more wrinkles. But right there, Leclerc starts him off with a fastball up and in.
Two-0. Your starters for tonight. Both have had pretty good control. Just 1 walk in the ballgame. Right up here, radio booth just shy of. Saunders 0 for 3 last night. Fouled out to the third baseman, grounded out to second and to short. Right out the left here this year. Two and two.
Another good breaking ball from Leclerc. Seems as if each time he throws that breaking ball, he's trying to backdoor it, using it to keep the hitters off balance.
Strike 3 called. All 4 strikeouts have been called tonight. Sam Leclerc on a nice ball game here. 1-1 in the 5th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Dave Sims, Dave Valley here tonight. Mike Flowers with a couple of days off. He's expected back tomorrow. 2 outs. Here's Ichiro.
Ichiro with his 3rd home run of the season in his last at bat.
Breaking ball, slaps it right back through the middle. Base hit for Ichiro. A 2 for 3 night. And that home run, here's what he did on a 2-1 pitch back in the 3rd bout. Jumped all over the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
But Leclerc leaves his pitch just about middle part of the plate, thigh high. And Ichiro wraps his ball into the seats. Able to get around the outside part of that ball and hit it on a line directly over the yellow line out in right field.
2 outs for Sean Figgins. Base hit, broken bat. Ichiro's going to get the 3rd easily. So a nice setup here for the Mariners as Sean Figgins follows an Ichiro base hit with a base hit of his own. 2 outs here in the 5th.
Sean Figgins with his 2nd base hit of the night. Looks like this bat dies a hero as he hits it right off the end. Goes softly into right field, which allows Ichiro to go from 1st to 3rd very easily. Mariners finally putting together a little something here in the bottom of the 5th. That's what you like to see, is the two guys with speed at the top of the lineup getting on base.
Biggie 28 for his last 95. Up to 228. Here's Milton Bradley. Big swing, foul back. Figgins hitting 294 over his last 27 games. They get 295. We rounded up the extra digit.
It's coming. There's no question about it. It's coming. He's been too good for too long. Not for it to turn around for him.
Milton Bradley, 9 for 28 on the road trip. 3 home runs. He's 1-1 here. 2 on, 2 out. Boy, really trying to pound him inside. Milton tonight struck out looking at a 2-2. And popped up to the third baseman on a full count. That was in the 3rd inning.
And we saw that same approach last night from Johnny Cueto, really trying to tie up Milton on the inside part of the plate with that cutter. McClure using his fastball.
Popped it up. It's played. Cabrera, shortstop. Milton moves a couple on. That'll do it for the Mariners here in the 5th inning. They got 2 outs, 2 base hits. Can't do anything with it. 5 in the books in a 1-1 game. That. It's good looking. That was a good soccer match this morning here, Seattle time. Thanks, Angie. Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Scott Rowland, 2-3-4 against Felix Hernandez. Breaking ball, strike 1. Phillips 0 for 2. Mariners 0 for 5 runners in scoring position tonight. The Reds are 1 for 2. So the last 4 games plus, Dave, you got the Mariners are 2 for 34 runners in scoring position. 1-2.
Well, and certainly you don't like to play those 1-run ball games, as we saw last night, but it was a tremendous effort by Cliff Lee. The Mariners were able to scratch out 1. He was able to make that good enough.
Swing and a miss, and Phillips is gone on 3 pitches. Strikeout number 5 for Felix Hernandez.
Felix jumps ahead on Brandon Phillips very quickly. And he comes after him with that little two-seamer on the outside part of the plate.
Here's Joey Votto. 0 for 1, a walk and a run scored. A 1-out walk in the 4th. Scott Rowland fly to deep right center field. He tagged. And then Johnny Gomes followed with a single to left for the Reds run. He did a great job putting himself in scoring position.
That's a great example of a baseball player. He's 0 for 1, but he's had a great night just because of that base running play that he had. That helps right there too. A base hit back up the middle, but also the defensive play that he made on Robbie Johnson, which would have scored a run for the Mariners as well.
So Votto with a base hit. 1-out base runner here in the 6th.
Felix throwing a lot of strikes. This time he gets it on the middle part of the plate. Votto pounding it right back up through the middle.
26,468 on this cloudy, rainy evening here in Seattle. Glad to have those folks aboard here in the ballpark and you at home. Runner goes, swung on, fouled off.
Reds trying to get the game in motion right here. Votto taking off.
They're 3rd in the National League in stolen bases, in addition to being 1st in batting average, runs, hits, slugging, home runs. They're having a great year. 2nd in on base percentage.
They've been very aggressive on the bases as well, going from 1st to 3rd.
Lopez, double play opportunity to Figgins. Katzman, ring him up. Double play, inning over. Around the horn they go here in the top of the 6th. Keep it a 1-1 game. All right, thank you, Angie. It's Jose Lopez leading off. Good breaking ball by Sam LeClure. Strike 1. Jose a strikeout looking and robbed by Brandon Phillips, who took a ground ball on the shortstop side of second base. It was strike 2. Threw out Lopez. Jose not real pleased with that Laz Diaz. Laz Barrera was a good jockey years ago.
What horse did he ride?
He was a trainer, I should say. He was a trainer. Base hit, right field. Take a look at our Suzuki Kizashi game recap Ichiro, look at this one. Cranked. 2-1 pitch. That puts the Mariners on top 1-0. Big play coming up here, though, Dave.
Joey Votto. Long fly ball to right center field. Votto very alertly goes back to first. Tags up, and Franklin Gutierrez could not get him at second.
And then first pitch swinging. Johnny Gomes base hit left field. Tie ball game. That's where we are right now.
All that was done with 2 outs right there.
Mariners 0 for 5 and runners in scoring position. Cincinnati 1 for 2. Here's Goody. A couple of ground outs this evening.
I think coming into the series, I thought we knew we were going to see a great pitch game last night. Cueto and Cliff Lee. Tonight, you knew what you knew what Felix was going to be bringing. But this guy, LeClaire, he's kind of been a surprise. First time the Mariners have seen him. He's had a rough go here early in his career. He's 1-3, won his first start, and then had to face Carpenter, Kane, Greinke, and now Felix.
Yeah, replacing right-hander Homer Bailey, who's on the disabled list. He's hitting against 1s and 2s. Hey, kid.
Go get him.
Good 2-strike hitting by Lopez to get aboard here in the 6th. 1-1 for Gutierrez.
Well, we might see a little action right here. 1-1 count with Felix. Jose Lopez on first base. The Mariners have not been able to get a lot going against LeClaire.
Pulled foul, look out. Scatters him. Reds dugout. Mariners have gotten the leadoff batter on 3 of the last 4 innings. Of course, Ichiro led off third with a home run. Comes the 1-2. Almost hitting.
LeClaire has made the Mariner hitters very aware of that inside pitch. He doesn't throw real hard, 87, 88, but that pitch has got a lot of movement. That 2-seamer runs right in on the hands of the right-hander.
2-2. Down the third by Roland, base hit. Lopez will get the third. Gutierrez digging for second. He's there with a double. Something nice building here in the 6th. Second and third, nobody out.
Great at bat by Franklin Gutierrez. Looks like he comes after him with the changeup. Gutierrez out in front. He's able to hook this ball down around the third base bag and past Scott Rowland, putting runners at second and third. Mariners looking to capitalize here in the bottom of the 6th against LeClaire.
So Goody with his 10th double ties him for third on the ball club behind Ichiro. Lopez ties him with Figgins. Josh Wilson, a couple of ducks on the pond.
It was Wilson who was the hero of that game last night, the offensive hero, with that big RBI base hit, driving in the only run of the ball game.
Tough go for Josh in St. Louis, where he came up bases loaded a couple of times and hit hard grounders to the shortstop. And both of those opportunities coming with 2 outs. That was on Tuesday. Mariners lost that game 4-2. First inning and third inning. Make it 5th inning, big pardon. Couldn't buy a break. Came through big last night. Good spot for him here this evening.
You got the Reds infield playing halfway, looking to get that runner.
Breaking ball for a strike, 1-1.
When that infield is halfway, what they're looking for is a hard hit ground ball, maybe a one hopper that might give them an opportunity to cut off the run at home. This is where that's a tough read for Jose Lopez over at third base.
1-1 to Josh Wilson. Slicing. Snagged by Votto. 1 out. I think he had a lot of backspin on it, didn't it? Tune in tomorrow with the latest edition of Mariners All Access on FSN. We're going to break down Seattle's picks in the 2010 first-year player draft. They get some tricks of the trade from third base coach Lee Tinsley. That and more tomorrow at noon on FSN and FSN HD. We're going to put Catchman on to set up a force at every base. Casey Catchman. I'm going to ask Rob Johnson now. Mariners need Rob Johnson to come up big. Catchman potentially walked for the third time this season. A 1-1 ball game. Good pitching tonight. Good defense as well. So there's 1 out. This will be Rob Johnson's second at bat, bases loaded. Less than 2 outs on the season. He's 1 for 4. A couple runs batted in. The bases loaded. Big opportunity right here.
Boy, the Mariners could sure use this. They have struggled with the bases loaded. Rob Johnson, though, hitting .364 with the bases loaded. Opportunity to break open the ball game.
Here we go. Ball game could be riding right here in the 6th. Gets away. Comes back to the catcher. Did you see that thing check up? How about that? It got away and checked up like a Dave Valley nice little wedge shot.
There you go. That ball hit that grass. It looks like U.S. Open as it just plops down. A nice job by Ramon Hernandez to get down, but that ball still kicks off to the right, but takes one little hop and stops. Jose Lopez was almost halfway down that third baseline, thinking that ball was going to continue to roll.
1-0 to Rob Johnson. Fly ball center field. That'll get the job done. Drew Stubbs. He's there tagging Lopez. He'll score. Goody tags goes to third. Catchman holds it first. Mariners take a 2-1 lead. Rob Johnson's 10th RBI.
Good at bat by Johnson. Those are the times you've got to take advantage of it. LeClaire threw a little slider out over the plate, and Johnson gets enough of it to drive it deep to center field, putting the Mariners ahead 2-1.
Now runners at the corners for Michael Saunders. A couple of get-ahead fastballs in his first 2 at-bats. Saunders has fly to left and struck out looking.
This next offering will be LeClaire's 100th pitch of the evening.
Fastball, jumped on it, deep right field. Give up, and it is gone. A home run for Michael Saunders. He jumped on the first pitch. A 3-run jack.
Well, you were talking about how they were coming after him with that first pitch fastball. This time, Ramon Hernandez looked like he was giving him a pitch up in the strike zone, a target up in the zone. And Saunders, with a very aggressive swing, drives his ball deep to right field. I believe it hit up off the scoreboard. Boy, he just covers this one.
421 feet unleashed. Michael Saunders, he didn't wait around. He went right after it.
Well, there was no doubt about it. He heard that beautiful sound, that crack of the bat. The Mariners finally giving Felix a little bit of breathing room as they take a lead 5-1. First time the Mariners have scored 5 runs in a long time.
Go back to that 7-1 victory against the Twins when the Twins were in town. They scored 7 in that game as Cabrera snags that line drive off the bat of Ichiro. Great inning for the Mariners as they put 4 on the board and give Felix a 5-1 lead. Michael Saunders, a 3-run homer, his 4th home run of the season, takes his RBI total to 13. As the Mariners sent 7 men to the plate in the 6th inning, 4 runs on 3 hits. Johnny Gomes leading off for Cincinnati, followed by Jay Bruce and Lance Nix. So Cincinnati gets some action in the bullpen. And Jordan Smith up and throwing. Aggressive swing by Joey Votto. Johnny Gomes, beg your pardon. Votto and Gomes, anytime you watch highlights at night, both these guys, they're not cheating themselves. They're going up there hacking.
No, they get their money's worth, no question about it. This is an inning where you like to see Felix come in and really just shut the door. Do not let the Cincinnati Red offense start to creep back in. And this is a good start right here, getting Gomes.
Rob Johnson applies the tag. Strikeout number 6. 1 down here in the 7th inning. They like the approach of Mr. Saunders on that last at bat.
Loved it. Loved it. I love seeing that young hitter going up there, being aggressive, looking for that fastball, something that he can handle.
Down to Figgins. Bruce is gone.
I think sometimes as young hitters get to the big leagues, most of them have already kind of created who they are coming through the minor leagues. Am I a high on base percentage guy? Am I going to get a lot of walks? Am I going to work the count deep? But if you're not one of those guys, to get to the big leagues and then to try to change and become one of those, very, very difficult, because it takes away that aggressiveness. We saw Saunders just jump all over that first pitch fastball. That's what you like to see, those young guys that have that type of power. You want to see them use it.
4th home run for Saunders. Two-no. Nick's 253 hitter entering tonight's game. 0 for 2 tonight.
Felix really showing no signs of any effects of that 128 pitch performance back on Sunday.
Good breaking ball. 2-2.
I think having that extra day, that Thursday day off, giving him one more day before coming back out here. Pitch total now at 89.
Working quickly, the 2-2. Back through the box, he snares it. Flips over, does his job, throws a 1-2-3 seventh inning. Nicely done by Felix Hernandez. After the 4th spot in the inning, it's 5-1 Mariners. A 5-1 lead. Michael Saunders with a 3-run homer in the 6th. They've chased Sam LeClaire, the starter. Here's his line. 6 innings of 8 hit, 5-run ball, a walk and 4 strikeouts, 103 pitches.
And really up until that 6th inning, he was throwing a nice ball game. Mariners finally finding a way to get to him, stringing together a couple of base hits. And then ultimately ending with that big home run by Michael Saunders.
Jordan Smith takes over. Here's his profile on the season.
Talked about LeClaire. He gave up only 1 run and 5 hits in the first 5 innings, but the Mariners were able to get to him in the 6th, putting together 3 hits, 4 runs, and ending his night.
He would love to get that pitch back from Michael Saunders, but that's not going to happen. Biggins Bradley Lopez here in the home 7th. That home run for the Mariners, just their 39th of the season as a team. It's last in the American League. Big 4-run 6th inning. Mariners actually have exploded here. And Michael Saunders now 1 for 3 on the evening. Home run every 21.8 plate appearances now for Michael Saunders. And the Mariners last time, let's see, last time they got 5 or more runs, you got to go back to June 1, 7-1 win here against Minnesota. As the Mariners lost the first game of that series, as you remember, then won the final 3. And that's a good Minnesota club, which outslugged Philly in Philly today 13-10.
Well, the M's have played some good baseball here at Safeco Field coming into the game tonight. 16 and 17 at home. If they can hold on here, that'll bring it right up to 500.
Biggins fouls one right into the catcher's glove. 2-2. Two-home run night. That shorted the Mariners. 2-home run night. That gets him to 40. Because Ichiro, of course, hit the one in the 3rd. 2-2. Full count now to Figgy. Milton Bradley awaits.
Over the past month, Sean Figgins' bat is starting to come alive, hitting nearly 300. Tonight with 2 hits, his first and infield single. And then a soft line drive to right field.
Up the middle, Phillips can't get it. Night for Figgy. 3 hits, 3 for 4. His numbers really starting to go up the chart. Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. Let's check out the crowd. The Budweiser first inning and see who's enjoying the game. And it is singles night here at the ballpark. Couldn't you tell? Baltimore chop. Figgins assures that Bradley will reach base. Nice play by kid Brandon Phillips. Figgy did his job.
He certainly did. Figgy pulls up, which allowed Milton Bradley to get to first base. If Brandon Phillips is able to apply the tag right there, he might have been able to turn the double play.
Come on, Brandon's like, come on, man.
Just let me tag you, will you?
1 out. Stays out of double play. Nice job by Figgins. To Lopez. Sean Figgins 3 for 4 tonight.
Jose is really conscious of trying to stay inside the baseball. You'll see him step out of the box and let his front hand kind of mimic what he wants it to do.
Down to Roland. There's one to Phillips. Throw over to first. They got him. They go around the horn. Easy, easy, easy at second base. Everything's cool. Bradley and Phillips. No harm, no foul down there as they get entangled. 5-1 Mariners. And this young lady enjoying herself dancing to
She can't help it.
And Tennille.
She
Love
can't
will keep
help
us
it.
together. Yeah.
She hears the beat and the body just follows.
Good stuff. Ball 1 to Ramon Hernandez, the Reds catcher, batting in the 8-hole. Hernandez, Drew Stubbs, and Orlando Cabrera. Felix Hernandez got out of the 6th with a around the horn double play, then threw a 1-2-3 7th. Only run tonight for the Reds. Johnny Gomes, 4th inning RBI, and that was built on the hustle of Joey Votto, who tagged on a fly ball to deep right center field, going from first to second. Meanwhile, the Mariners got a home run from Ichiro in the 3rd. Sac fly Rob Johnson in the 6th, immediately followed by Michael Saunders, a 3-run homer.
See how Felix gets through this inning right here, if he's going to have an opportunity to finish the game. Remember, he threw 128 on Sunday. Depending on how efficient he is here this inning, he may have a chance.
3-2. "24 years old and still not even in his athletic prime yet, but we're going to be used to seeing him going deep." Broken bat, going back Figgins, he's got it. One out here in the 8th inning. Tune in tomorrow for the latest edition of Mariners All Access on FSN. We're going to break down Seattle's picks in the 2010 first-year player draft and get some tricks of the trade from third base coach Lee Tinsley. We invite you to join us, that and more, tomorrow at noon on FSN and FSN HD. This kid can run. Drew Stubbs got an infield hit and a base hit to center. Stolen base as well. Strike 1 from Felix Hernandez. Also has 4 triples, among the leaders in the National League. Good breaking ball. Yakety yak.
Here in the 8th, that curveball still has some bite to it. Felix has thrown 68% fastballs, 20 breaking balls, and 10% changeup.
Have some.
Which is what that was right there. A little changeup on the outer half at 90 miles an hour.
So a 7th strikeout.
It's all about the movement, the arm finish, and that ball just dropping right out of the strike zone.
Pop up and a strikeout here in the 8th. Top of the order, Orlando Cabrera. About maybe mid early last year, he started the Louis Tiant back turn. Really gives him a nice rhythm and continues to hide the ball even more from the hitter.
And I think for him and his style of pitching, because he can have a tendency to be very violent in his movement towards home, it gives him the ability to kind of gather up, get his balance before he starts that movement towards home.
Deal 1. Breaking ball. Hello.
I tell you, his breaking ball here tonight has had that real good 12-6 action. We've seen Felix use all of his pitches. He's been able to throw them all for strikes.
Here's the 1-2 to Cabrera. Check swing. Keeps the at-bat alive. Two outs, nobody on. Here comes the 1-2 to Cabrera. Third straight inning. Felix has faced the minimum. Nothing across in the 8th. It's the Mariners riding Felix Hernandez, an 8-strikeout effort through 8, 5-1 Mariners.
The entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Time now for a Coors Light freeze can.
Some great shots right there.
Coors Light freeze cam. You know, Ichiro and Saunders both had their head right where you want it. Zoned in, watching that ball come in. You see the Mariners with a 5-1 lead. Here's Gutierrez, followed by Wilson and Kochman here in the 8th. There's the Goody hot zone. Felix right now at 104 pitches. Good shape. Felix struck out 8. Walked just 1. And that walk did cost him in the 4th. He's done a nice job. Look out. And hit an empty seat, thank goodness.
Almost had it.
Really pay attention. Two and 2 to Gutierrez. Jordan Smith in his second inning of work.
Gutierrez has had a nice night. That double down the left field line. And also a couple of nice defensive plays out in center field.
Foul.
But then again, you get to say that most every night, don't you, dude?
Mm-hmm. You can cover it. For 3 runs scored tonight. Jordan Smith, 6'4", 220, born in American Fork, Utah. Lives in Pleasant Grove, Utah. Just got a piece of it. Stay alive as we take a look at the Jack in the Box in-game box score for the Mariners. Milton Bradley, the only one that's having an off night. Everybody else with nice offensive contributions this evening.
Good to see Sean Figgins with 3 knocks. But it was that big home run by the young left fielder, Sean Saunders. That's been the real difference in this ball game.
Like that approach, right?
I do. I like to see those young guys with that very aggressive mentality when they get up to the plate.
First strikeout by Jordan Smith. One out here in the 8th. Here's Josh Wilson. Showing a nice breaking ball, Jordan Smith.
I don't think he throws anything straight. Fastball, a two-seamer. He's got a lot of movement.
Strike 2. You're mentioning Sean Figgins with a 3-hit night. Last 27 games now, he's on a 302 clip. Good work. Catcher held on, Josh Wilson. He's gone on 3 pitches. 2 outs in the 8th inning. Hey, if you're looking for a way to save money on your commute, consider a Sound Transit ST Express bus. For route information, visit soundtransit.org. 2 outs in the 8th for Casey Kotchman. 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. The walk was intentional. Load the bases and set up a force at every base, but it was Rob Johnson who responded with a sacrifice fly to center field, and Saunders a 3-run homer. Mariners 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. 2 errors came in the 5th inning. Reds have run on 4 hits, no errors. Two and 2.
Both Cliff Lee, Felix Hernandez have done a tremendous job of quieting this Reds offense. The most potent in the National League.
Look out. Oh, somebody did move out of the way. I hope it didn't hurt somebody else.
Nope, he brought his gloves.
All right.
I bet he was a Boy Scout. Always be prepared.
He's got the Longhorn cat and the sweatshirt.
How does that work?
The hoodie of Washington State. But the Horns were coming to the Pac-10, huh?
I was thinking maybe he has 2 children. One went to Washington State.
I'll buy that.
And one was a Hook'em Horn. Rob Johnson on deck.
Casey Kotchman gets one just over the leap. Second baseman Brandon Phillips, a 2-out base hit. Kotchman with a base hit here in the 8th inning. Hey, Major League Baseball, People Magazine, they're recognizing individuals who make a difference in their community. Go to peopleallstars.com. Vote for your favorite everyday all-star who could represent the Mariners and be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. That's July 13th on Fox. Casey Kotchman, the base hit, good for him. That breaks an 0 for 12 for Casey.
It's always nice at the end of the night to be able to get something before the game's over. Casey's been struggling a little bit at the plate. Nice to get that one knock going into tomorrow's ball game.
1-1 to Rob Johnson from Jordan Smith. Just called up Tuesday for Carolina.
You know, let's not forget it was Rob Johnson's sacrifice fly that put the Mariners ahead. 2-1. Rob was up with the bases loaded, hit a deep fly ball to center field.
One and 2. Felix Hernandez certainly had a chance to catch his breath in a nice, comfortable evening here. Bob Johnson just keeping that at bat alive. He looks composed. He's thrown 104 pitches. He'll face 2, 3, and 4 in the order when he comes up.
Certainly nice for Felix, knowing that he's got that 4-run lead going into the 9th inning. No activity at all down in the Mariner bullpen.
Baltimore chop. Rolling bare hand. Wow, he got him. Nice play. Scott Rowland. Been a fine player throughout his major league career. To the 9th we go. Felix Hernandez going for the Mariners' second complete game in as many nights. He's got a 5-1 lead. Five-1. Mariners on top. Middle game, 3-game set with the Cincinnati Reds, the best offensive team in the National League. Felix Hernandez trying to get a second complete game of the season. Phillips, line drive, center field, going back. Goody in his pocket, 1 out.
Oh, that's a nice way to start the 9th inning right there. 1 pitch, 1 out. Hitting it out there to your center fielder. Felix continues to come right after the hitters getting strike one as Ardsma starts to get loose down there.
They got him hot on Sunday. Brought him in for the final out in San Diego. That ended a 5-game losing streak. Joey Votto, first pitch swinging, fouls one off. Joey 1 for 2. Runs scored. Heads up play back in the 4th inning. Tagging going from first to second on a deep fly ball right center field. Breaking ball. Hello.
Boy, the second half of this ball game, that breaking ball has really come along for Felix. Not only has it had a big break, but he's throwing it for strikes.
Here's the 0-2. Defensive swing. Base hit. Joey Votto protecting and gets a nice bounce. And a 2-hit night for Joey. 1 out, 1 on.
Well, this is just an excuse me swing right here. This ball is almost past him. And he just kind of reaches out, but hits it far enough to the right of Jose Lopez to get into the outfield.
Mariners have an around the horn double play that ended the 6th. Felix went 6th, 7th, and 8th innings thanks to that double play, facing the minimum hitters in those 3 frames. They know Felix is going to be around the plate.
They're coming out hacking. Every one of the hitters here in the 9th inning have swung at that first pitch.
Roland struck out, fly to center, and the back end of that aforementioned 6th inning double play. Drive to left, going back Saunders. He got a good jump. He's there. No problem. 2 outs.
The last pitch was the 110 for Felix here tonight. That fastball still up in the high 90s with good movement. That ball got in on the hands of Scott Rowland.
So it's come down to this. 2 outs, a runner on for Johnny Gomes. Breaking ball again.
Last night, Cliff Lee had to end the ball game going through the meat of the order for the Cincinnati Reds, and Felix is doing it here tonight.
The 0-1 to Johnny Gomes. Swing and a miss. It gets through Rod Johnson. The runner goes to second. Wild pitch. Felix in command now. Felix Hernandez, a strike away from a complete game. The 0-2. Cranked deep and foul. Johnny Gomes can turn around a fastball. He's got 9 home runs, 49 RBI.
Now you look at that and you kind of hold your breath for a second, but because it was in a good location, there wasn't much that Gomes could do with it other than yank it foul.
Here's the 0-2. Pitch from Felix. Popped up. Not playable.
Felix continues to go right after Gomes with the fastball. I get a sneaky suspicion that he might drop that big hammer right here.
You've called many hundreds of games. I think you got a good intuition on this one. 0-2 to Johnny Gomes. The pitch. Got him! Ball game over. Mariners win it 5-1. It's Felix Hernandez' second complete game of the year. He picks up his 9th strikeout. It's his 9th complete game of the year. And how about the other hero in this game, Rob Johnson with a sac fly, and then Michael Saunders with a 3-run homers. They take the first 2 from the best offensive team in the National League, the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, I think the star of the story here tonight has been Felix. He was absolutely fantastic, going right after the Cincinnati Reds all evening long, establishing strike 1. He comes right after Johnny Gomes right here for the final out. He gets this good, hard, sinking fastball, and Gomes swinging over the top. But you can't forget Mr. Saunders with the big 3-run home run that gave Felix some breathing room that he has not been able to experience in quite a while.
This has not been a high-scoring team. Everybody knows that. The 5 runs, the most the Mariners have scored since June 1, a 7-1 victory here at home against the Minnesota Twins. And with the 2 home runs, Ichiro and Saunders, the hit today by the Mariners, a total of $40,000 has been raised in our game for prostate cancer research. To make a donation, you can call 800-798-CURE or go online at www.pcf.org. Great night for the Mariners. They beat a really good ball club 2 nights in a row. And let's go down to Jen Mueller standing by with Michael Saunders.
Michael Saunders, big home run. It was a first pitch fastball. And you know, there was no doubt when it came off your bat. At what point did you know that that was your pitch and it was going out?
You know, like you said, I think as soon as I made contact, it was one of those ones where you just don't feel it on your hands and you can't really feel the ball come off your bat. So,
being able to swing on a first pitch, I mean, is it something that just kind of gets developed over time, or was that what you were looking for the entire time?
kind of what I was looking for. It was a fastball kind of middle in, up a little bit, and that's how he'd been attacking me all game. And, he struck me out on my second pitch on a fastball in, caught me looking, and I was just kind of hoping that it was going to come in hard. So
I think the last 6 wins prior to tonight have been by 3 runs or less. Does it feel good to have a little bit more breathing room to work with out there?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had great pitching performances, and by Vargas and Cliffley, and then Felix tonight. And I think it all starts with that, giving us momentum, getting us back in the dugout quick, and it was just nice to be able to put up some runs for them.
Starts with them. It does help that you guys gave them some runs, though. Go inside, enjoy your teammates. And, guys, this was back-to-back nights, complete games. I'm still going to try to look up that stat, but I don't know when the last time was it has happened.